Hello, and thank you for joining this class on the use of Zoom for complete beginners. What we're going to do in this class is first we're going to have this small introduction to explain why I decided to do this class. And then I'll show you how to create your Zoom account, then how to enter a meeting and what you need to know while you're in the meeting, and then how to end the meeting and close out of Zoom. So the reason why I decided to do this card is because just a few days ago I had to have a video conference call with my doctor, because at the moment we're in the COVID-19 crisis, so doctors' offices are not open, or at least not the one I needed to see. And so he decided to actually still have the appointment that I had, but we did it on Zoom. And I seem to see that Zoom is the go-to platform for most people at the moment to do this kind of thing. So there's a possibility in the next few weeks, or maybe also in the future, because I think that it's actually probably not a bad method to do for people who can't move, people who are bedridden, for instance, who can't leave their house, but still would need to see a doctor, or for various situations. I can see that Zoom is good. Is also just for a social thing, if you're away from family. And for somebody like me who's always actually been living overseas, whenever there was any new things to do, video conferences or any type of video call, I usually learned how to do it. But the first time it's not necessarily that obvious. And once you've done it a few times with different platforms, I'm used to using different platforms because I teach and we use different things. So none of this is very new to me, and I always manage to figure it out. But I can totally see that someone who is not used to using a lot of technology could actually find using Zoom a little bit challenging. And like everything, it's a skill. You can learn it. It's not difficult. It's just that when you don't know, well, you don't know. So the point of this video is to actually help you learn how to use Zoom. So if you need to have a doctor's appointment or just a chat with one of your friends who lives far away, then you can do that. Or if you want to have a conversation with several people, which is actually the point of Zoom. So for this class, we're just going to look at a one-on-one, and the only difference with a bigger conference is that there would be other people and they would all get the same invitation. So this was the logic behind the idea of the Zoom class. And so what we're going to do now is have a look at how to create a Zoom account. So in the last few weeks, because a lot more people have been using Zoom, given the situation, a few things have changed on the Zoom platform, and they've actually upped their security. And one of the requirements, as far as I understand, is that every person who wants to participate in a Zoom meeting needs to have a Zoom account. So we're gonna look first at how to create a Zoom account, and that's a very simple process, as you will see. Okay, so that's the first thing. Hi again. So here I am back. I'm actually sharing my screen with you, so you should see my little Google page here. So to create your Zoom account, the first thing you're going to do is just open a browser, and in the Google search, you're going to search for Zoom. So you can type that. There's a very good chance that this will be the first thing that we'll find. So you recognize the little Zoom thing here. And you want to click on the Zoom video conferencing. That's what we actually want to look at. And I'm going to move my face. I'm going to put it here so that you can see. At the top of the screen here, you have a thing that says sign up, it's free. And that's where you're going to click. And here it's going to want to verify your date of birth. So here I can I'm going to put something random because it's not very important at this point, as long as they want to, I guess, check that you're old enough to do that. So I'm just going to put this. I click continue. And here you're going to start entering your email address. So I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen here for privacy reasons so that you don't see the email I'm going to use. But I am actually going to create an account. And what's going to happen is that once you enter the email address, you're gonna click on sign up, and it's gonna tell you that it sent an email. So I'm gonna check my email. So I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen for 1 second, and you'll see my face. And I'm gonna go back on my screen. So I'm gonna enter my email and follow the instructions. So there we are. So I'm clicking on the word sign up. And then I get a message that says, we sent you an email to your email. Click the confirmation link in that email to begin using Zoom. So what I'm doing now is opening my email very quickly. There we go. And I'll reshare my screen as soon as I've opened the link so that you can see what's going on. Okay. So let me just actually open the correct email. And here we are. And you get an email that's from Zoom, and it says, please activate your Zoom account. So I open this email, and then there's a little message that to activate your account, please click the button below or paste the link. So you have the big button below that says activate account. And if that doesn't work, for some reason it happens, you want to paste the link that's written underneath, okay? And then there's a support link if you have a problem. So I'm gonna click on activate account, and it's opening a new page, which I'm going to reshare with you. So let me just go back to my Zoom meeting and share my screen. There we go. All right. So here now you say, it's asking me if I'm signing up on behalf of the school. I'm not, so I'm going to say no. And then I'm going to say continue. So on this screen, it's going to ask to identify yourself. So obviously try to, if it's for something serious, try to use your real name. So, you know, my name, so I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to enter my password. There you go. And here you're going to click continue. And here is just asking you if you want to invite other people. You can skip this step unless you know somebody that you want to add their email. So here I stop sharing my screen because it takes you to your actual account when you create your own account. Obviously, I don't want to show my personal link. It gives you a personal link, which is what you'll use as a host if that's what you want to do. So then you're ready to go. You're all set to use Zoom anyway, because once you have the account, you can use it as a host and as a guest. And we are back to look at the invitation. So normally what's going to happen when you are invited for a Zoom meeting, somebody is going to send you an email or a text message with some information. I've actually copied and I've changed some information on in the invitation that we're going to look at. It's a legit invitation. I've just changed the information that could cause problem for my privacy. But I'm going to show you the longest version of the invitation that you might receive. And sometimes you will just receive a link. Sometimes you will receive a whole big long invitation with phone numbers and etc., which I will explain in a second. So let me share my screen with you. And I'm going to show you what the invitation is going to look like. All right. So I've obviously changed the name. I like Game of Thrones, so I've put Jon Snow and Tyrion Lannister. So Jon Snow is inviting you to a scheduled Zoom meeting. So that's your meeting. Normally you'll know in the email what time you've already agreed with that. The topic will be here. There was no specific topic, so that's what it says. It says, you know, the name of the person, personal meeting room. So here is going to be normally the name of the person who's actually hosting the meeting, which might not be the person you're going to talk to. For instance, when I had my consultation with the doctor the other day, it was his assistant who was hosting the meeting. So she first called me, and then the doctor came in. she let him in and we had our consultation, and then she kind of took over. So the name of the person is not really important, but you will have in the actual link, normally you're gonna have the company's name because they're the one who own the Zoom account. If not, it would be maybe the name of a person, but you will have a link that looks like this with a zoom.us and then some slash and then a number. Now here, the number is normally 6 digits. I've actually made up some numbers and I've added one more just to be sure that nobody plays around with that. And that same number that you see at the end of the link is going to be the meeting ID. And there's different ways you can enter the meeting, as I'm going to explain. In some cases, and more now, you're going to have a password. My understanding was that actually there had to be a password, but the last time I was called for a Zoom meeting, there was no password. So I guess it depends on the company, but it's possible that they ask you to enter a password, which they will give you in the invitation. So you don't have to worry about that. Also, there's a way to join the meeting through your phone. So that will be only if you're in a situation where you just want to listen in to something. If you have a group meeting, normally it'll be more like a phone conference where you don't need to be seen and you don't need to see the people. And in this case, you can just join in with your phone and just be listening and talking, okay? Then it will explain to you a bunch of different numbers by location. For some reason, Zoom has different numbers depending on where you are. I'm not quite sure why. I don't normally use Zoom with the phone. I use it with my computer or with my phone, but with the app, because I need to be seen and I need to see people when I normally use Zoom. And again, there's repetition of your meeting, and then at the end, they will give you an actual Zoom link where you can find your phone number if you need to use it by phone. And that's something different. So this is the longest version of the meeting invitation. Sometimes you will just get this part, okay, which I'm highlighting right now. It's very possible that they just send you the link and there's no other information. Sometimes you will just have this part here, what to do to join the Zoom meeting and what is the ID. Okay, and really that's pretty much all you need to know about what the invitation looks like. And then what you do once you receive your invitation, you will click on the link and it will open Zoom in your browser if you're on the computer and ask you to open the app, or if you're on the phone, it will just simply open the Zoom app directly and you'll be in the meeting, but I'm going to show you that in the next video. Okay, so we're back to actually go into a Zoom meeting. So for this purpose, what I've done is I just want to explain to you how I've done that for the purpose of the video. So I've actually started a meeting from my phone, and that would be what would happen if somebody is organizing a meeting. So they're doing their thing on their side. So the meeting is actually already going on. If you join a meeting early, it's never a problem. It will just tell you you're the only person here or the host hasn't started the meeting. So it's always fine. You can always join a meeting. If you were given a link, that means that this meeting exists, even though it hasn't started. So in this case, my meeting is already going on. So I'm going to join in while it's already there, just so that it makes things easier. So you'll see me go back and forth from my computer screen and my phone, because at the moment, I'm the host and the guest. So we're going to look at it from your point of view, the point of view of the guest. And in order to do that, I've actually sent myself a text message with the invite to the meeting, which is something that you could get. I showed you the email version earlier. And now this way you're going to see what a text message could look like. And mine actually also have a password. So that way you'll see how it works to add the password. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. If you give me 1 second. And okay, let me see, present now. All right. So it's going to look a little bit funny for you for 1 second. All right, so now I'm sharing my screen and I'm going to show you. So this would be what an invitation from a text message would look like. And you have a link here. So you click on the link. and it will open the Zoom window on your computer, and it's going to ask you if you want to open Zoom, which you want to. If you're doing this on your phone, it will probably just open the Zoom app directly. Okay, so I'm opening my Zoom application, and then it's asking for the meeting password, which your host would give you, and I'm copying and pasting it, and I'm joining the meeting. Okay, so at this point, you might get this message because the host has to actually admit you into the meeting room. Now, for a second, I'm gonna go back to my recording, and I'm actually gonna stop my video because otherwise you're not gonna be able to see how it works on Zoom. So let me go back to Zoom. As a host, I'm admitting myself. There we go. It's connecting. And here you're gonna want to start the video. And this is it. We're in the Zoom meeting, all right? So this is your host. I've actually called it host. And as it's me, I've just put my little picture. So what can happen is that your host might choose to share their video or not. In this case, I'm not, so that we have a difference between the host and the guest. So this is the guest. This is me also, but it will be you. And so the things that you need to know about using Zoom, you can mute yourself. And now you can't hear me. And now you can hear me. All right, you can also stop the video. And this is, you would go back to the screen, or you would just go back to just the little screen that we had before, okay? For the purpose that we're doing, where I'm talking more about maybe having a doctor's appointment or something like that, there's little chance that you would need to share your screen, but that's something that you can do. And in some cases, you can also record. That depends what version of Zoom you may have. It will tell you who the participants are if you click here. Okay, you have that. And then you can close out of that. And then the other feature that you have is the chat. So here you can just say hello. And then everyone in the meeting will see that. Now you want to be careful with this, because if you're in a meeting with more than 2 people, here obviously it doesn't matter, you know who you're talking to, but when there's more than 2 people, it will here list the different people. Be aware that if you chat to everyone, everyone can actually see what you're saying. So you just want to be careful with that sometimes. And then you can also close out of that this way. And then that's really it. Once you're done, you're just going to click on Leave Meeting, and we're going to do that now. And it will give you your Zoom app again, and you close out, and this is it. That was it for the how to use Zoom. So I hope you found this useful, and thank you for following me on Skillshare, and I'll see you again, probably in the kitchen.